I'm gonna be real with y'all. I've been seeing there are some folks in the community that are planning on skipping Miyabi so they can save for 1.5 as the new Ether support Astra Yao is coming out. And I'm gonna keep it a buck, this is such a crazy take. Unless it's waifu over meta, then I can understand. But if it's not, this has gotta be one of the top tier biggest troll takes I've ever heard. You're quite literally breaking your account for the fun of it. This will be a massive mistake and a disservice to your account. Pretty much here's why I think you shouldn't be an idiot and you should get yourself a copy of Miyabi. But before we get into this wonderful yap session, I just wanted to say thank you all for your continuous support. It really does mean a lot. And if you're new here and enjoy discussion based content, hit the sub button and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos. My Discord is pinned in the comment section down below. Feel free to join. And if we could set up a 5 sub goal for the video, it would be greatly appreciated. That's enough free promo. Let's get into this. As said before in previous videos, I played a crap ton of gacha games. And throughout my time playing those games, I've come up with my own rule of thumb. A kind of rule that normally stands throughout all gacha games that I play. Generally, I would say 90% of the time I follow it, and that the rare 10% I may deviate due to certain situations with my account and the characters I currently have on the roster, or kind of the gist of the meta, and honestly on certain games that I'm playing. For example, some games may be more support reliant due to scaling. So everything is situational, but 90% of the time this rule of thumb stands. But the general gist of my rule of thumb is DPS over supports. If you don't really have any good DPSs on the team that can help clear out the content, who the hell is there to support? Now I 100% know it's all situational, and there can be some rare cases where I'll deviate from it. For an example, if you ever played FGO, supports over DPS is massive in the game. The scaling the supports do to DPSs can easily turn a crappy DPS into one that can carry you throughout the content. Without good supports, you will not get through endgame, let alone clearing certain story missions. No matter if you have the best DPS in the game, they can't do shit without supports that can buff them and bring them to that next level. Or Honkai Star Rail, in certain scenarios, I'll roll on supports over DPSs, as that's kind of the way the game has been structured. Now, HSR isn't as severe as FGO, but I'd like to say that supports hold a bit more weight over time rather than DPSs. Unless we're talking about Acheron, and that's exactly what Miyabi is in comparison. Miyabi is the Acheron of Zenless Zone Zero. Miyabi is that DPS powerhouse that can absolutely shit on any kind of endgame mode, and can make your life a million times easier if you get her. She's one of those DPSs that we see once every major patch or so. Something that you can't even place in the same tier as any other DPSs because they're in their own league. The amount of DPS she throws out is miles ahead of other DPSs that we have out, and skipping her would do your account a tremendous disservice in the short term and in the long term. I have no doubt in the short term that until 2.0 for Zenless Zone Zero, Miyabi will carry your roster through any kind of content, and even in the long term I see Miyabi still being relevant. Now this isn't to say she'll be meta forever, but she'll essentially hold way more value to your account than any other Joe Schmo like Bernice and Jane Doe, who will quite literally fall out of meta within the next 2 patches. Most of the community I would say is not fully maxing out shield defense every rotation. The average player doesn't really get into much endgame content because it's a bit too difficult and maybe they don't have enough time. But Miyabi makes that climb that much more easier due to it being catered towards her, as well as she's just simply that much of a broken character. So for those of you casuals that don't dip into the endgame mode because it may be a bit difficult, she's your answer. To have an AoE damage dealer that quite literally shits on anything standing is quite insane. And this isn't no Bernice kind of AoE. She in some cases has room-wide AoEs that will do massive amounts of damage. It really is ridiculous. And to hear people in the community saying they're skipping Miyabi because they want to get Astra Yao in 1.5 is actually insane. The only way I can deem this somewhat reasonable is if you dislike Miyabi overall and or really, and I mean really like Astra Yao and can't afford to get both. But even then, even as a free-to-play player, you should be able to get both Miyabi and Astra. The amount of pulls that will be obtainable within the 6-week span of patch 1.4 is a lot. From my knowledge, if you are fully free to play, you can obtain at least 180 pulls within patch 1.4. And not even mentioning all the free polys that we got from the maintenance, as well as the apology free pulls that we got for things being broken after 1.4 dropped, as well as the free temple for thanking the community. There's plenty of pulls to go around for you to be able to get both Miyabi and Astra, and you'll be doing yourself a favor by getting the best DPS in the game, and likely going to be the the best support in the game with Astra Yao. I think Astra will have major value in her kit and might arguably be one of the best supports in the game. Skipping wouldn't be advised. I think everyone should give her a shot in pulling, but if you had to choose one or the other, Miyabi or Astra, I think from the short term and from a long term stance, I think Miyabi clears. I think Astra Yao might be able to close the DPS gap from previous DPS to Miyabi, but not by much. So ultimately Miyabi should be your focus if you want to get more of a bang for your buck for your account. But at the end of the day, this is all just my opinion. My opinion isn't law. You go ahead and do whatever you want to do with your account. All I can really do is give you my reasoning and you ultimately make the final decision. It's a gacha game at the end of the day. You can with a lot of work beat all the content in the game without Miyabi, but as a person who's busy, if I can find that loophole with investing in an OP character that would take less investment and would take less time clearing endgame, I'd rather save myself from that headache instead of min-maxing Billy to clear Shiyu defense. But hopefully you get what I mean. Miyabi saves me time and resources with the value that she brings. But at the end of the day, I'm just a random guy on the internet stating his opinion. But I'm curious to know, you freaky frogs, what'd you end up ultimately doing? Did you pull for Miyabi? Did you win the 50-50? Are you skipping and saving? Let me know. I'm always curious to hear what my community's experiences are. Also, let me know your plans with patch 1.5's new characters. Do any of them interest you, or will you be skipping that patch and saving? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you're new here and enjoy ZZZ discussion based videos, make sure to hit that sub button and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm more than confident you'll enjoy either one of these videos on screen. The one on the left shows my godly pulls for Miyabi and how glazing ZZZ gives you boosted luck, and on the right we yap about how ZZZ could potentially be Hoyo's best game down the line. But that's all I got today, you freaky frogs. I hope 1.4 is treating you well. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.